Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I actually just want to talk to you about the Tolkien Society for a little bit. Now, obviously, it's very old news at this point that the Tolkien Society are malicious traitors to Tolkien's legacy, and their revealed politics are, of course, the absolute inversion of everything that Tolkien really stood for. And in that respect, I suppose that they're a lot like Denethor in the sense that they are unworthy stewards of a greater glory and a greater brilliance. But you can see here that even though that it's old news and you had all of the woke seminars and essays that the Tolkien Society was publishing, I was alerted to this on the Substack, and they are still doing it. Although they've now gone for the angle where they were very, very scarred, actually. They were very, very scarred and very, very startled by the evil far right and the kickback that they got a few years ago. So, well done. Thank you for your services on that one, everybody. But you can see here that they are still trying to essentially advocate for the same politics, but they're just trying to be more tactful about it these days. So it says in this Substack, the Tolkien Society is attempting to hide its social justice infiltration of Tolkien scholarship and the Lord of the Rings. Robin Anne Reid, a former professor in the Department of Literature and Languages at Texas A&M University Commerce, revealed in a Substack post that she had submitted a paper to the Tolkien Society titled Racing to Gender Ardor, a stylistic analysis, in which she allegedly provides intersectional analysis on Tolkien's works. And it goes on to say that while her proposal was accepted, Reid claimed that the Tolkien Society requested that she changes her abstract because previous public postings of abstracts led to online harassment on and from social media. And they are going to keep running into this problem, right? Because it's not the name of it. The true Tolkien fans are very vigilant, very passionate people. And, you know, I personally count myself as one of them. Obviously, it's no secret how much I love The Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. But really, like with the Rings of Power, right, they are just going to get battered from all sides and people will simply opt out of it. One thing that interested me here as well, that I didn't actually know and is something that I'd have to look into more, but there was a part where it says somewhere in here that off the back of that earlier backlash from against the Tolkien Society, some fans actually set up a society of Tolkien. It's all a little bit People's Front of Judea, but I suppose these guys aren't splitters. I guess these guys are actually the real deal. But one of the other things as well is just that this cannot stand, and ultimately what will happen is if the Tolkien Society cannot be trusted to safeguard the ethos of what Tolkien fought for and what he believed in and what he wrote about, then it will fade away into irrelevance. And I'm encouraged to see that other people will rise up in order to defend his legacy. Because on one hand, I've never actually been, and this is just a personal thing, but I've never actually been an enormous fan of like Tolkien scholars as people. I think that Tolkien was a man first and foremost who just wanted you to discover who he was through his works. And I feel like there's not really anything of value worth adding after Tom Shippey. Tom Shippey is probably the great Tolkien scholar. And if you really want to see any interesting analysis of Tolkien's works, you should just probably go and read Tom Shippey's work. Because what you get now, the problem with the scholarship as well, is that once some genuine, authentic work has been done, such as what Shippey has done, well then you in the academic pursuit of finding more and more original things to say, more and more fresh angles to come at, you end up getting into this vicious cycle where, well, now we're just going to have to look at the queer history of Middle-earth, even though I'm fairly certain that Tolkien, as a devout Catholic, was probably not lacing the Lord of the Rings with anything of the kind. And when it goes on to talk about the fact here as well, sorry, it's a long article, so forgive me if I don't find the right bit just very quickly. But you see here where she says, I see this latest request for revision by the trustees as fearing to engage with a project that names whiteness as a part of systemic racism, a topic I identified as one of the gaps in Tolkien scholarship that needs to be addressed in my 2017 essay, Racing Tolkien Studies, a bibliographic essay, she wrote. As a result, you may be risking the society continuing to enable the white-dominated nature of Tolkien scholarship. So this argument about race in Tolkien has always fascinated me because, of course, race is there are many races in the Lord of the Rings, in Arda, and in Tolkien's wider legendarium. You've got hobbits, dwarves, elves, men, orcs, ents, eagles, right? So it extends to the beasts of Middle-earth as well. These are the races, right? Race, as the social justice mind comprehends it, is entirely a matter of colour, where, of course, with Tolkien, they are literally other types of humanoid mortal, to put it in a clunky way. And this idea that it's a white-dominated scholarship, well, I wouldn't be surprised, because obviously it was written for, for drawing strings from many strands of European folklore and myth, from ancient Greek tales to Norse Volsunga, the Volsunga saga, and other such legends, from Beowulf, in the Danish tradition, from the fact that Boromir is based on Roland, who is a character and historical figure out of Frankish songs. And so it draws on all manner of strands from, as I say, European folklore, but ultimately it's all in service of creating a mythology for England. And this is what they hate most of all, and this is what Amazon continually fights against, because they want to make The Lord of the Rings for everyone. But the truth of the matter is that The Lord of the Rings wasn't written for everyone. Of course, it has gone on to have tremendous global appeal, and, spawned some of the most successful films of all time, has been translated into countless languages. But this is more of a byproduct of the genius of Tolkien's works. And in writing exclusively for the English, in a world where inclusivity reigns as king, they simply can't have that, and they can't allow for it to stand. And the Tolkien Society themselves have obviously been infiltrated by people who, like this, they don't really care about Tolkien. They just care about the long march through the institutions. They just care about getting their people in positions of influence and power, right? It's also, this particular aspect even goes down to casting in the Rings of Power itself, where what you got was, because obviously they had a very diverse casting. What you had was not people saying from those backgrounds, like the Black Dwarf or the Black Elf. You didn't have them saying, well, look, we respect the fact that Tolkien wrote this for a white population, for an English population. However, we just love his work so much, so we know it's not what Tolkien would have intended. We know it's not what he would have wanted, but we desperately love it, and in order to appeal and include people from viewers, who are basically ethnic narcissists and can only get on board with the story when they see a face like theirs in it, well, we decided that we made the calculus that we're going to have diverse casting in The Lord of the Rings. Which, don't get me wrong, I still wouldn't have been okay with, right? I still wouldn't have been okay with that. But I would have respected the honesty of it. A lot of, then again, maybe they were honest, because really what they were just saying was, well, it's about damn time these opportunities have been given to me, and how dare you've kept me out from these career avenues in fantasy for so long, right? So it's not about Tolkien's legacy, it's purely about the material, transactional nature of the industry, and what material gain and what renown or infamy, I suppose, they can get from being in a big budget series like that. So the Tolkien Society will continue to struggle. I just wanted to alert everyone to the fact that they're still total wormtongues, sowing poison in the ears of people and making you doubt your own strength of conviction. Because actually, Lord of the Rings was written for you, fellow Englishmen, first and foremost, beyond anyone else. And it's your inheritance. And the great corporations can do with it as they will, but that doesn't change the facts, right? The facts are as the facts are. And I'm looking forward to doing more work on Tolkien stuff further down the road on Chronicles. I know that some people are asking for it. It will come. It will come. But it's something that I really want to get right. So I'll save it for when I feel it's the right moment. And so, yes, I just wanted to alert you to the Tolkien Society's continuous treachery. And the fact of the matter is that they can moan all they want about it being a very white-dominated space, but it is the inheritance of European peoples. And so if you have a problem with that, then maybe it's not that you love Tolkien. Maybe it's just that you love yourself and want Tolkien's works to be about you when really they're not.